What's up, guys? Time for another Heroes Forge video. Today we're going to be looking at the new dungeons that were just released into the game last week. This was a rework of the original dungeon system, so we'll take a look at those things. We'll take a look at the new character called the Paragon. He's a light side legendary. And finally, we'll look at how the drop rates work in the game. What's the best way to spend your crystals, which is the best way to get new characters, and how to get those legendaries that you might be trying to farm up as we play the game. So let's dive in. So first, let's take a look at the new dungeon system. So before, the dungeon system worked sort of as a tiered kind of a thing. So there were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dungeons in the normal mode. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, in the heroic, and then they had class-based ones. So those are gone completely out of the game. Those aren't in the game anymore at all. And so now we have a daily dungeon, and this is similar to how a lot of other games in this realm work. And so let's take a look. So today we're looking at the Dragon Lair, right? And so if you look here, I was able to get through, all the way down to the 8th. It looks like that's where I got stuck at. I've tried this one a couple times with my light side team. It's the team I've been farming up the most. I feel like it's the strongest, but it's just not enough to get past this particular dungeon. But when you come into a dungeon, you can actually see a few things. One is you can look at the boss, and you can click this little icon here, and it will actually tell you a little bit about it. So the debuff immunity, immune to all negative effects. So that's bad for my team because I rely on burn, and one of my other characters uses burn to kind of crit and do a lot of damage. So that kind of negates that, right? And so that's probably one of the reasons I can't get through this particular dungeon right now. It will also show you which characters you're going to be fighting in the encounter, and then what the best loot is. This is how it was in the old system. You'll see there's a new token, and that allows you to buy different types of loot. You can see this one has tokens for Fireborn gear. I'm sorry, no, the tokens can be used for any gear, but this particular dungeon drops Fireborn gear, sorry. So all the dungeons drop the ancient coins, but this particular dungeon drops Fireborn. And the other dungeons will drop different versions of various gears. So, and then finally you'll see your enchantment stones, which you use for leveling up. They also have a leaderboard, so you can take a look and see who's made it to the various levels. I'm in rank 3, it looks like. Looks like a few folks have made it, right? There's a couple rank 1, rank 2. I don't know how the points are awarded for these. I assume it has to do with how much damage it did, maybe, or how fast. I'm not sure. I've not found that out. I'll have to ask the devs about that, see how that actually works. And this is actually pretty cool, and we'll go into this a little bit more with the actual drop rates for scrolls, which is some really cool info. I hadn't seen that before, and today in Discord some folks were talking about it, and it came up. So each layer will have its drop rates, and I think they'll be doing a patch today or tomorrow. They're actually going to be adjusting some of these things. I think they're going to be bumping them up so it'll fall more often. But you can see I'm on tier 8, I believe, so 100% chance of getting some of these new coins, ancient coins. I'll get 4 to 7, and then to actually get a piece of Fireborn gear, if I was able to clear 8, it would be 8.5%, whereas right now it's 5, so 1 in 20. Hopefully that math is correct. I'm not going to check myself right now. And then you can see how many you get for this. So this is really cool, right? You know what you're getting into. You know what each tier is going to reward you for. What's really interesting to me is once you get to this last tier, it's 1 in 5 chance almost. So that's not actually too bad if you're trying to farm up gear. Problem is you're going to have to do a lot of farming to get to this level to be able to pull this gear, and that's if you can get the characters specific to this dungeon that are going to work. Now each dungeon's probably going to have its own flavor of team that you're going to need. It's going to take a lot of farming, a lot of times, and a lot of time to kind of get you there. Let's talk a little bit more about how that's going to work here. So you can actually click on these ahead of time now and see. So you'll actually see these dungeons are what will come next. You can see an hour and 27 minutes for me on this one, and then you'll see there's an hour or a day for the next one. But you can click in these and you can actually see the same info. So you can see the drop rates, you can see the leaderboards, which there won't be any obviously, but then you can see the boss and you can see what she's going to be. So 50% damage from heroes of type darkness, minus 50%. So if you have a darkness team, that's what you focused on, you're going to struggle in this dungeon. You're just not going to have the DPS to get through it. You're going to need a light side team that can kind of manage whatever other things these various enemies are going to do to you. Interestingly, they have awards of stamina potion here. Funnily, I don't really run out of stamina much. Maybe it's because of the way I farm. I'm still looking for a really good way of farming. If somebody has an idea about how to do that, I'd really love to hear your technique about how you level up your characters and how you keep pushing forward. Right now, I'm still struggling. I hardly ever run out of energy. Usually if I'm doing quests or something like that. So the Tomb of the Spider Queen, she drops cursed gear, and she drops ancient coins, right? So that's all the same way. The Golden Pavilion, minus 50% damage from heroes of type light. Again, if you farmed up a light side team, you're going to struggle, right? You're doing half the damage. So I think this is when it started last week with, and I was able to get through about 4 or 5 tiers. So, I've only spent a bit of money on the game, but, it's obvious I got a long ways to go before we actually get to the 10th floor here and really start collecting some of these better rewards, these 20% chance, 100% chance, and these extra bonus items here. Let's take a look at the last two. So we've got the Hall of Suffering. She's going to be minus 50% from Mystical. So that's going to be your casters and your DPS type people. So you're going to want an all melee team. The cool thing is you can use light or dark there. So these seem like they may be a little easier to get through as time goes on because you're going to have just kind of you'll have more coverage across light and darkness. So over time, those seem like they'll be easier to fill in versus some of the other ones where you need some of the more specific types, like needing darkness or a light team. That seems like those are a little bit harder because you need the full team. The final one is the Eternal Temple, 50% chance from heroes of type physical. So that's going to be your up close people, your DPS guys who don't cast. Again, you're going to need a team full of casters for this, probably some healers. So again, these seem like they may be a little bit easier over time, especially start kind of rounding out the core of your players. But again, the same info here. So that's the new dungeon system. It's pretty new. Like I said, they're going to put a patch out today or tomorrow, they said, with some changes to the drop rate. So we'll see what comes with that. But it's in the game now, so you should be seeing these when you log in and you start going through the system. All right, so with that, they actually released a new hero. It's called the Paragon. And let's jump into the library here. And he is right here with his flowing blonde locks. So the Paragon, right? Let's take a look at him. So the model's really cool. He's got the long flowing hair. He's got the big shield. He definitely is set up as a tanky kind of guy. Like, it seems like he may be one of the strongest tanks in the game right now. From what I've seen, any legendary and epic, they seem well worth their time for leveling up and kind of pushing forward with. I've not seen one in the game now that seems disappointing. Matter of fact, I saw a guy running a shaman in his team, and he had a crazy amount of DPS running. It was a shaman, and he was running he was running 2 Iron Claws, and he was running 2 Lightbringers. Disgusting. Whoever you are, dude, disgusting. I don't want to play you, ever. It's the worst. So, anyways. So, the Lightbringer, he actually has some skills. Most of it revolves around tanking and stuns. You can see on his first level here, he's got a 25% chance to stun. These numbers go up as you level up the character, I believe. So he'll actually stun more often as he gets better. Here you can see he gets defense up for 2 turns and an extra turn on top of that. Here he gets a taunt. So this actual skill has a taunt. This skill has a taunt, and this one actually just completely ignores damage. Don't even hit me all you want. I don't care. 30% of the time, just gonna ignore you. Don't care. Doesn't matter. So, like I said, he looks really, really strong. He's just been put in the game. I've not seen anyone running him yet, so I'm excited to actually see what he kind of comes off like once he's actually in the game and see how he fights. But looks super cool, right? So there he is, the Paragon. So that brings up a good question, right? Like, and it's funny that we were in Discord today talking to the devs, and I was wondering, as I farmed up, I've done a lot of the different scrolls to try to kind of catch characters, and it's crossed my mind, like, what's the best way to kind of use your scrolls, right? We've got a summoning scroll, a blessed summoning scroll, and an ancient. So a summoning scroll, that's not going to get you a legendary because those are all 5 stars. As a matter of fact, it won't even get you epic. Those are 4 stars. So you have to have a blessed summoning scroll or an ancient summoning scroll to even get a shot at those, right? And so there was actually a really cool discussion. There was actually a really cool discussion today about drop rates, and this is what Wizard, actually, he's one of the devs on the thing, had to say about it. So if you're talking about the middle scroll, it's a 3 to 5% chance of a 60, 30, 10. So basically a 60% chance at a 3-star, 30% chance at a 4-star, or 5% at a 10-star. Or I said 10% at a 5-star, right? So in theory, 1 in every 10 of yours should pull a 5-star with those scrolls. Now, he goes into some various math here, but long story short, as the game sits today, you have about a 2.5% chance of getting a legendary of any type that's in the game, and I believe that works out to like 1 in 40 pulls. I know some folks were talking today, they'd had like a longer spell where they hadn't pulled any, which is sort of disappointing, right? So, so there you have it, right? If you are if you're pulling these, 2.5% chance of pulling a legendary, as the game is today. Now, as I add new characters, as I add new legendaries, those numbers will distribute a little bit differently, but you should be able to use that math to back into it again. The thing that I thought was more interesting, though, was the Ancient Summoning Scroll. So this is a guaranteed 5-star drop, but what the really cool thing is, it's a 1 in how many ever chance a number of characters are in the game. So right now I think there's 27 or 29, I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically for you to pull a legendary, it's like a 1 in whatever 27. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's like a 7 in 27. Let's see how many games. Let me see. Let's take a look. We'll go into our heroes. We'll go to the library. Okay, so there's 27, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legendaries. So that's a pretty good shot, right? It's like a 25% chance versus a 2.5% chance, roughly, with the, or was it 3.5% chance? It was a 2.5, right? So what kind of caught my attention about that 2.5 versus that 25% chance, if you're going to spend crystals, okay, and the dev made a good point, Wizard actually made a good point. Look, you're going to get a lot of scrolls to the game. You're going to get them through quests, daily rewards, they drop in dungeons, you'll get them for these various missions, achievements, all those things will drop those things, right? And so that's great. It's good to know that drop rate's about 2.5%. But if you're going to spend crystals in the game and you're trying to pull legendaries, if you're trying to pull some of the better characters in the game, I think it's well worth your money if you come to the store and you're going to buy them. So roughly, this is little less than 4 times much for the Ancient Summoning Scroll. So if you took that 2.5%, worked it out times 4, that's 2.5, 5, 10. So 10% versus a 25% chance of pulling a legendary. So if you're going to spend crystals, buy the Ancient Summoning Scrolls. It's going to be well worth your money. Save a little longer. At the worst, you'll still get a 5-star character, which is well worth the time of having to level it up. Of having to use your other characters and feed them in there to level them up. The leveling up process takes a long time anyways. If you're already 5-star, that's a huge advantage. So something to take note of. If you're going to spend crystals on the game, I would highly recommend you buy those Ancient Summoning Scrolls. If you need one for a daily quest, you need one for a daily quest. Sometimes you get 2 for 1, right? That's where you got to play the math. If you're doing your daily quests, if you're over here in your quest log here, and one of them says, hey, you need to pull whatever it is, a 3 to 5-star character, then sometimes you come to the store, you buy one of those, you buy one of these, but you get 2 for 1, so it's really 30 crystals versus 60. I'm sure there's some math that works out there, right? It's a little bit better than it was before, but you got to do what you got to do to get your daily quest done. The rewards are just too good. Don't skimp on those. Make sure you complete those daily quests every day. They're super important. All right, so that's it today. We've covered a lot of stuff there. We talked about the new dungeons, the new character Paragon, and some drop rate information. There'll be some updates coming out today with drop rates. Hopefully once that comes, I can do another video and talk about that a little bit as well. I'm looking at the synergies. I didn't talk much about the Paragons. I think he, for now, just at a high level, will work well with the Judicator and maybe the Paladin or the Fire Raider. Or I think as you start to pull some of the better characters, the Oracle, but I really think they would work well with the Lightbringer. Such an annoying team. If you put a DPS character behind this Paragon and Adjudicator, and then you throw in a really good DPS, these 3 right here could be super nasty, right? The Lightbringer can res people, so if for some reason your DPS went down, if Paragon went down for some reason, you bring him back, oh, he'd be so annoying. So annoying. So anyways, that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you watching the videos. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Please subscribe. I really look forward to doing some more videos, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.